Hey guys, Laura St. John here from Strong Confident Living. This one is going to be a juicy one about nipping negative self-talk. This is Breaking Bad week here at Strong Confident Living, where we are becoming more aware of some of our bad habits and how they keep sneaking up. And self-talk, the dialogue between you and your VIP, yourself, your most very important person, how you wake up in the morning, that self-talk starts rolling, right? You're talking to yourself all day long. And sometimes you're aware of it and sometimes you're not. And sometimes once you are and you realize how sometimes negative it can be about yourself to yourself, well, I always have this philosophy that your cells are eavesdropping on your thoughts as if you're giving them instructions at all times. On top of that, what you're willing to tolerate as you talk to yourself tells you a lot about what you're probably willing to tolerate from others that can talk to you the same way. And you're like, where have I heard that before, right? So I'm going to go through 4 different kinds of self-talk that's typically very negative that I often hear, that people say that they do. So just think what self-talk is just that talk that's going on that's not coming out of your mouth. But what if it was? I saw an image on social media a couple weeks ago that said, what if your self-talk was written in words all over your skin? Like, what would it be? What would it say? And is it positive? Is that something that you could wear proudly? Because if your cells, in my opinion, are eavesdropping on those things as instructions, you're actually wearing it and you don't even know it. You're oozing your self-talk at all times. And it is attracting to you all the different situations that you may find yourself in, positive or negative. So which one are you? Okay, number 1, the blatant negative self-talker who is just like black and white. Like, I can't do that. Like, I could never run every day. I could never eat that healthy. I could never blah, blah, blah. Like the person's at the I can't, black and white, puts it right out there. And it's a negative self-talk. Okay, so is that you in your head? You see your runner on the street and you're like, I can't do that. Okay, you see someone doing something and you're like, I just can't. Okay, so I've got a solution for you. The next one, I'm gonna circle back to each one. I'm doing 4. Number 1 is like the hidden negative self-talk, which is hidden underneath an excuse. Like, I would love to work out like that person, but, I've got my 3 kids, I've got 2 jobs, I would love to eat healthy, but, I have my mom's hips, this metabolism, blah, 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 blah. And you're already making excuses for yourself to like justify it in your head. Okay. Is that you? Okay. Maybe you're a mix of all these things. Okay. So there's the blatant one. There's the kind of hidden negative self-talk that's hidden under an excuse. The next one is the drama queen. Okay. Like the person in your head that is just like, I'm starving. Like if I don't have like some chocolate right now, I'm going to die. Like the very exaggerated, dramatic self-talk. Okay. And like the hands up in the air, kind of like you're storming out in your head, like just very big and dramatic. Okay. And I'm going to teach you how to like nip these and quiet them and like kind of do something really fun. And that's something I've never shared before in just a moment. The next one can be really detrimental. The I am self-talk, the I am fat, or, I am lazy. Like you see someone doing something and then you immediately relabel yourself with a negative label that was probably stuck on you a long, long time ago. Is that your self-talk? Like that I'm not good enough kind of, I could never do that, but in a I am way. I am not that. Like I am, and whatever you fill in the blank for yourself, that's negative, okay, from a label. And I'm going to, again, just say you will tolerate life experiences like in a direct reflection to how you talk to yourself. Okay, the boundaries you create yourself in terms of how you would allow other people to treat you is, in my opinion, 100% coming from you. Okay. So if you want to stop being like, gosh, if this person would just treat me this way, I'd be happy. If this person would just this is going to clean up relationships when you start doing the Breaking Bad of the tips. And I'm about to throw down one tip that's going to help all these things. But when you start cleaning this up for yourself, the self-talk, the dialogue, you become nicer to yourself. Self-esteem starts pouring out of your cells. Confidence is the result. It's ooze, okay, of have the inner self-esteem of positive self-talk, and you lighten up on yourself. You stop self-criticizing yourself. You become, just a more pleasant person to be around when you're actually nicer to yourself. And when you are, then you stop seeking other people to change and treat you differently, because you treat you differently. And once you treat you differently, you're not going to set the conditions up for like everybody else to be like, gosh, don't cross that line. Don't, if you say this to me, then I'm going to be mad and then I'm going to be unhappy. But if you just, stay over here and treat me a certain way, then I'll be happy. And, so many people give away the power or the keys to your own car, you driving you and your thoughts by saying but it all starts with you and your self-talk. Is my whole point, is that you can draw the boundary of what you're willing to tolerate within your own self and your own self-talk. So here's the nip of what you're going to do. When you are now consciously aware that you have this dialogue going on, and it may not be positive, and it may be something that's like very consistent that you've had for years, I want you to now create a second voice. Okay, the second voice is going to answer the first voice. And it seems crazy at first, but it totally works, because it's already crazy, right? That you're like sitting here and you're like, I'm aware of the self-talk. When I see someone running, or I see someone exercising, or I see someone like eating so clean, and I'm the person like number one who says, I can't do that, I want you to create another voice that says, oh, yes, you can. And literally picture it as like two voices. But the second voice, the one that will get louder and louder, is an unconditional, more loving version of yourself that is just like, actually, in my opinion, the real you. Okay, so once the real you recognizes the voice that's just like been on autoplay, that secondary voice that you're creating is the one that's observing that first voice, and can be so loving. Be like, so every time you're like, I can't blank, that like make the response. You have to make the answer to the first voice. And the second voice of your self-talk says, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. Okay, it's that simple. I can, I will. Okay, now the second one, which is really good, is the hidden one, which is like, oh, I would love to work out today. I would love to eat that clean. I'm just keep giving those examples as easy ones for healthy living, right? But I can't. I've got to run to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then the excuse land pops up, right? So you change the but to a so. So as the first voice of self-talk says, I can't do this, or I would love to do this, but then I want your secondary voice, the one that's observing the first one, to be like, so this is what you're going to do today. And this is how I talk to myself all the time. I'm like literally trying to start to make an excuse, like even just now, a broadcast, this, that, I'm running somewhere and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this, but I've got a broadcast. Okay. And then I'm just like this. Then the second voice comes in. So just get your butt in your office and go broadcast. Okay, like literally you have to create that second voice that says, so just go do it, right? So just go do it and be done with it and stop hemming and hawing. So when you start doing these two things, what starts to happen is that you train your brain to have your secondary voice, the one that's more loving unconditionally, to be who you truly are. You make that one louder. You make that one louder, you practice it. And like I just always tell people, like practicing grumpy takes practice, practicing happy takes practice. You got to practice happy. And when you start flipping these things, it really makes you a happier, more self-esteemed, like confident person. So create these two voices. I'm going to give the example of the drama queen. Okay. Like I, there's no way, I'm starving. Like I'm going to die if I don't have food. Okay. What would be the other voice that answers that? Come on. You gotta be kidding me. Like you're being ridiculous. Okay. No, you're actually not starving. Like if you saw someone who's actually starving, like you would never say that you're starving ever again. Okay. You're just being ridiculous. So like literally create those voices and then you lighten up on yourself. The person who's dramatic all the time, when you create that secondary voice, you're suddenly like, oh my gosh, like, you can laugh at yourself. You can stop taking yourself so seriously. So good for all the perfectionists and like the self-criticizers in the room that might be watching or listening to me right now. Okay. So just stop doing it. And when you create that secondary answer, like you're like, oh yeah. So then you get to decide which voice you want to choose to believe. The more you believe the secondary voice that you're actually flexing and exercising, the the more you become that, because everything up to this date is past tense. Like right now, present tense is past tense because every thought has led you to this moment right now, and you're exactly meant to be here. So if you want to create the same result, have the same thoughts. If you want to create a new result in your life, create new self-talk for yourself, which is just your inner thoughts, your inner dialogue, okay? And then your inner dialogue turns into your outer dialogue. Your outer dialogue and your inner dialogue turn into what you are willing to accept in terms of how people are talking and treating you, okay? How you are oozing out into the community and all of these things. And that last one, the I am one, that can be so detrimental, okay? And we do this in parenting classes and all that when I deliver stuff to teachers and parents. And it is like the biggest one, because when we say, she is or he is lazy, or she is the one that always like grabs the unhealthy snacks, or he is or I am the fat one, okay, we are always then setting our own expectation for ourselves, even if our desire is to change. And when you speak to yourself at that level, like that hurts, that hurts so much, because then you become that and you're self-creating and perpetuating something you might not want. So that secondary voice again of when you say I am lazy, okay, that secondary voice has to say thanks, but no thanks. That was the old me. I am strong. I am changing. I am learning. I am more aware. I am confident. And you start to create new I am statements for yourself with that secondary voice. And that first voice that was maybe saying the I ams your whole life of I am the this one, I'm the stupid one, I'm the whatever one, okay, whatever, was literally just old thoughts. Old thoughts. You 1.0, you 2.0, you 3.0. I don't know what 0.0 version of yourself I'm on. I'm on 44.0, right? Every year I create a new version of myself. Every day I create a new version of myself. So you guys really listen to your self-talk. If I could give you the biggest, best challenge that you could do for yourself for like a week, have a self-talk challenge. And every time you're negative to yourself, I want you to imagine those words being written on your body for your kids and everybody else that you love to see. Okay, is that the version of yourself that they want to see? Is that like the role model that you want to be for yourself or others? Because it is happening. So that intangible you of self-talk is happening. You just don't see those words on your body, right? But it is happening. They're feeling your energy. If that's what you're saying to yourself, your thoughts become your beliefs become your actions that you live by. So a thought over and over and over again will drive a new belief. And soon you will become a different person with a new result. So do the self-talk challenge. Imagine those words getting on your body. Have some ah-ha-ha, ding-ding-ding moments. Just become more self-aware of your thoughts. It's my favorite thing as a mindset coach to just hear what people are going through and just flip it, right? Start flipping it to the other side. It's exponentially more powerful, and there is a flip positive side to every single negative thing out there. So love you guys so much. Share this message out. The world would be an extremely happy place if everyone could just like be nicer to themselves inside their heads. Have a great day.